Hello, everyone. Welcome to Increase Your Cash Flow, presented by HUECU. My name is Terrence Bazil. I'm a
And I'm
community.
Dominique Veltier.
And there's also Magdalia Gomez, who will be in the background, keeping things going, keeping things flowing. Thank you for joining us today. So to begin, let's start with who we are. We are Harvard's not-for-profit financial institution. And what that means is we are community focused, our products and services are a little bit better in terms of fees, and we're accessible anywhere. So one of our main benefits is membership. Once you join, your membership will always exist for life, and that extends to not only you, but your family as well, from your parents down to your children. We also offer a lot of free resources. So because we're a not-for-profit banking, a lot of the all of the revenue that we do earn, we give back to the membership in terms of free financial resources. And one of the main ways that we do that is Thrive Financial Wellness, where we offer free financial counseling, blogs, workshops, and worksheets. To find that is huecu.org/thrive. We also have a new branch in the Longwood Medical area. We are located at 435 Brookline Ave, right near Sweet Green. Please pop in if you're in the area. We love when people say hi, and we are all super friendly.
Right, someone's joining us. Wendy's joining us. We were going to talk about reducing expenses, defer expenses, and increase your income. I'm going to toss it back to you, Terrence.
Thank you. Awesome. So as Dominic mentioned, we're going to touch on some different high level and really nitty gritty ways and tangible ways to increase your cash flow. But this is all going to be around the same theme of increasing cash flow through reducing expenses, deferring expenses, or increasing your income in some way, shape, or form, whether it's promotions, strategic shopping, or even utilizing Skip-a-Pay for some utilities. So to begin, reducing and deferring expenses. How we're going to do that is we need to start and acknowledge, you know what, where is our money going? So that way we can start to see how we can strategically shift and plan our spending to be that much more cost effective and increase our cash flow.
And before we can do that, right, we have to kind of figure out, where are these expenses going? So how do you think we can get to do all of that? Well, we got to track our expenses. We can start for the first 2 weeks, really just see what's going out, what's coming in, and check your statements. Do you agree, Terrence?
I would agree. So the best, like you mentioned, the best way to do that is going out, seeing where that money is flowing. And now that we're midway through February, we're about 2 weeks in. Now is a great time to sit down and say, you know what, where has the money gone this month? Is it aligned with my financial goals? Is it really where I want my money to be going? And setting those alerts for spending so you can be a bit more strategic. And if at this point you realize, you know what, I'm kind of close to my food limit for budget, maybe it's time to cut back a little bit and say, you know what, I'm not going to eat out anymore.
And of course, set alerts for your spending. If I know I have a particular student loan that's due every 3 months, so it's easy to totally forget about it because my other loans obviously are in deferment with all of that's going on. But this one is a private loan for graduate school, so I have to put an alert on my phone to remind me because it's one of those that you can totally forget about, and then next thing you know, you owe more money than you really need to, and you're getting hit with fees. And I don't want to do that. So just really setting alerts for things that you spend money on or bills that are due, just to keep you on track.
Oh yeah, that's super helpful. And the last one is cost of debt. Debt, we'll touch on it a little bit further and really look at the numbers to see how much you're paying in interest and how much it's costing you month to month. And it's going to be actually pretty surprising. And we will talk about different ways to tackle that, whether it's refinancing or even possibly restructuring your debt or a debt management plan.
So we also have some budgeting tool ideas for you, some of the ways you can do that. My mom would use the method of envelopes, and my sister and I remember we would make fun of her, like, what is that? So she would have an envelope, and then she would write down all of the names, what they're for, whether it's the rent or tuition or groceries, everything she put on an envelope, and they all had a place to go. Whether it's savings, they were all going to go in that way. Another option would be, online banking budget. The other also option is our Excel or worksheets. And then you had some other ideas too, in terms of apps, Terrence, that I know that you use as well.
Oh, definitely. I personally like to use Mint, Personal Capital, any technology app that I can have on my phone at my fingertips. I love it because I love being able to check in on a moment's notice to see what's going on with my money, where's it going, and those spending alerts are phenomenal. Especially if I happen to give my card to like my mom or my dad or my girlfriend and say, "Hey, wait a minute, we didn't talk about this. What are you doing?" But it's a great way to keep in track and keep myself and my family on our financial goals.
And
And
of
while we're
course, the best of plans always can be thwarted in some way.
oh yeah.
So you want to
Uh,
always have an emergency fund, because you could be, driving your car and then you get a flat tire, and then it costs a lot of money. So, you want to try to have as much as you can in terms of expenses, like 3 months to 6 months. And then you can even start small, $50 to 250, even as little as $5 to $10. What about you, Terrence?
Honestly, sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you, I will make the best of I have the best intentions in January to say I'm gonna save $250 every single month, and February happens and Valentine's Day comes around and all these different holidays comes around, and you know what? I don't have that 250. Um, but I'm still able to put away that $5. And even though it's not my original goal, when March comes around, I'll try again.
Absolutely. And I wanted to remind everyone, in terms of saving, we are having a webinar because America Saves Week will be coming up really soon. We're hosting two of the webinars. One is debt repayment strategies, and the other one is saving at any age. So it's someone who is an early career, mid-career, and someone who is near retirement. So just varied opinions, and we still have registration is open. So it's huecu.org/America-saves. You want to stay on camera, Terrence, or you want to get off camera so they can kind of focus on the slides? I'm going to get off camera so they can focus on the slides.
Sounds good.
Also reducing your expenses. You had some good tips, Terrence?
Definitely. So one of my major tips is MVNOs, which are mobile virtual network operators. And to not to go into detail about this without going into too much detail, they are virtual networks such as your Cricket Wirelesses, your Mint Mobiles, your Metro PCSs that still operate on the same towers as those bigger brands, your AT&T, your Sprint, your T-Mobile, but instead of those premium prices, you're actually able to take advantage of premium service at a much lower cost. However, I do want to communicate that it may not be suitable for everyone's needs in terms of data usage because there is some data reduction because you are getting a better cost-effective product. It's very useful if you're working from home. Um, and I'll leave it at that. I would definitely do your research and see if it's the best option for your unique situation. And then there's private label items, which is generic, shopping at those big box stores for those things that you would buy in bulk, whether it's toilet paper, or if I have a bigger family, or even cereal. Um, and energy efficient homes. Mass Saves offers programs for not only homeowners, but renters as well. And their products offer from home installation, energy efficient light bulbs, different ways to remain energy efficient, regardless if you're renting, you're a homeowner, and even just, have an apartment.
Going back to that private label just for a sec, when you go to like Stop and Shop or Shars, they have their own private labels. You don't have to buy those branded names, and you can save money in that way as well. You can get a 2 for 1, whereas if you purchase the branded item, they'll be a little bit more costly.
Definitely. Thank you. Also review those subscription services. I know I at one point was subscription service happy. I had Audible where I was paying for books. I had Netflix, Hulu, and honestly, I didn't have the time to sit down and watch all of those services and take advantage of it the way I thought I would. So I had a hard conversation with myself and said, you know what, Terrence, I don't need Netflix anymore. I don't need Hulu. And I had a great conversation with you, Dominique, and I learned I no longer need Audible. Want to tell me why?
Because you can go to the library and get some of this stuff for free, especially if you live in Boston. You can get your library card on like a physical library card or e-library card, and there are tons of savings just from having your library card, from just accessing a computer. If you don't have a computer, you can get one on loan for a couple of hours. You can get some discounts for going to the museum, the aquarium, and for some of us who like to visit the Cape, you can get discounted prices for ferry tickets to go to the Cape. You don't have to do all that long driving and have to endure the traffic. So the library card is chock full of different savings for both yourself, and if you have children, for children as well. In terms of, it's not just about going to the library to get a card. You can do a lot with that library card, and it's free. So, why not take advantage of that?
Oh, if it's free, it's for me.
Don't take my words. I appreciate. I see you're listening. You were paying attention.
100%. I learned about the library. So the next thing that on our increasing cash flow theme is reducing food expenses. As Dominique touched on before, looking at those generic brand items, usually the ingredients are exactly the same at a bit of a cheaper cost. And another thing is cooking at home, really making use of that grocery list that you made with prices, and also being conscious of what you have at home really makes for a strategic meal at home. Whether you are looking for some fresh produce, um, or even looking for that really niche bottle of wine or really niche fruit, shop around, see which place has the best bang for your buck, and plan ahead.
Of course, because when you go to that grocery store and you're hungry, you tend to definitely spend more. And the year, we're almost 2 months into the year. Many people have made resolutions about, being healthier, losing weight. And by now, some people have fallen off. So when you cook at home and you plan ahead, you tend to sort of stick more to your resolution, and you know what's in your food instead of spending, the $10, $15. Of course, sometimes there's an emergency. You're running out the door. You may not have an opportunity to cook at home and grab that meal, and you have to eat out. But it definitely helps to keep you you know just accountable for your resolutions that you made this year to yourself.
Definitely. That's a key, that's a life hack right there. Eat before you go grocery shopping. I will spend more if I don't eat before I go.
And one of the things I also do is I try to stick to pretty much one of the same two grocery stores, because now I become familiar with the layout, and I could just go in and grab what I need from my list without getting distracted, because the way the grocery stores are designed is to really distract you and kind of a gotcha, and you're going aisle per aisle per aisle, and next thing you know, you're piling up things into your cart that you really don't need. So when you kind of familiarize, you know exactly what you need, you go in and out. That way you're not tempted to maybe buy things that you really don't need.
Mhm. So now we're going to touch into some of the household benefits and perks that will, in terms of employer, they may be a bit more unique. We're going to ask Wendy to chime in a little bit later to talk about the very employer specific benefits. But what I will talk about is the health insurance and financial institutions portion of it. In terms of health insurance, if like Dominique mentioned, you are attending a gym and you're going frequently, you are able to actually get a rebate for some of those costs. It may not be a full rebate, but there is a portion that your health insurance will refund you for being a regular gym goer and taking a proactive approach to remaining healthy. In terms of financial institutions, I would contact your lender and see what kind of products they offer. Here at HUECU, we offer Skip a Pay, and you're able to skip up to 2 payments per year for a $25 fee. And for any months that may be particularly hard, or it's a heavy birthday month for you, you know what, you say, hey, you know what, I can't make my loan payment this month. Can I please defer it and add it to the back end of my loan?
And of course, some health insurances also give you some kind of refund. And if you're going to a gym and they see that you're getting healthy, they have these different programs for you in terms of providing a nutritionist, just to kind of keep you on track. And then also some credit cards, make them work for you. And by that, I mean, if they're offering perks for miles, airline mileage, and you get cash back, use those cards for your gas and your groceries, and of course, pay them at the end of the month. So those are also good resources. And then the alma mater one, I know one of my alma maters from undergrad, if they've partnered with an insurance company, a local insurance company here, and we get a rebate of $300. So when they do send you those emails, double check to see what your alma mater is saying, and if they have different perks, that will definitely save you some money. And then also the phone carrier, from the T-Mobiles to Verizon, they have certain days of the week that they send out these different texts and flyers, and they tell you if you want to purchase flowers, for example, like as in yesterday was Valentine's. So you can save money in that way, because they have these different perks that can help you save some money, as well as your city or the town that you live in. Terrence, do you have anything else?
Let's see. That's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, and when Wendy, did you want to talk about any kind of perks that are from your side that people could take advantage of?
Hi, good morning or
Good
good
morning.
afternoon,
Good
Hi,
everyone.
Wendy.
Hi, I am Wendy Mateo Arias, and I work at Boston Children's Hospital in the Workforce Development Program, and I'm here representing HR and as well as the benefit side. I want to thank you guys for providing this presentation, trying to guide us a little bit more on the financial goals that we might be setting down now at the beginning of the year. So we have partnered with Harvard University, the Employee Credit Union, for over a year now. And the focus of this partnership is with the initiatives that we have with benefits for our well-being at Boston Children's, focus on two areas, the health side and the financial side. So we hope that you are able to take advantage of this great presentation and connect with this thing if you need any further assistance. We will have a series of different webinars through the 2023, and we will be sharing that information in different areas of our Boston Children's page, as well as COP360, so that you can join the financial steps in either if you are going to school, your kids are going to school, trying to get a home. There are a lot of great topics there. And I wanted to mention that now for Boston Children's, we do have some benefits for this year, the 2023. There have been some changes. So if you have kids, we have a new child care assistance subsidy that you can apply for. Our tuition reimbursement have increased and is now having the loan assistance program. So if you went to school and you are still paying, those loans, you can get some reimbursement from the hospital. We have all of this information available under the human resources page, and I can also send out the link for this information after. And for the employee assistance program, which is also part of our benefits, they focus on a few different areas of our life. So you can get up to 3 free appointments. They have nutritionists, they have lawyers, they have support for emotional and mental health. They provide suggestions and advice if you are looking for childcare for your parents trying to get where they should be staying now as they are going into a later age, what home might work the best for them. We also have benefits that focus on the health area, providing discounts. And as Terence mentioned earlier about the gym, our insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they actually have a reimbursement for employees that have been going to the gym for the 2022. So if you at least register and you were there for a few months, you can go to our page on their Blue Cross Blue Shield and find the form to file for a reimbursement for the gym. We also have movie ticket discounts. We have water park discounts. We have a variety of partnership with different organizations that can, kind of give you that additional extra discount to save some money in different areas of your interest. So if anyone has any question for me, I will put my email on the chat and we can connect through via email. And I will also be sending the links to the things that I mentioned. I think that definitely there are times that we know what our company offers and sometimes we don't know. So that's the reason why we have this webinar with our partners to share this information, and also what else is the hospital doing to support our employees in different areas of our lives. So thank you very much for joining us today, and I'll be here if anyone has any questions for me. Thank you, Terence and Dominic, for the presentation.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Wendy.
so much, Wendy.
All right, we're moving on. So how do you save money? What are some tricks and that you have? How do you save money, Terence?
Personally, what we're gonna do is gonna open up to the chat. I'm gonna give everybody a minute, and while that's happening, I'm gonna tell you how I save money. How I save money is I have direct deposit set up, going to a bank that is about 20 to 30 minutes away from where I live. And for me to access that money, I don't get to have a debit card or anything. I actually have to go on a Saturday before they close to access that money, withdraw it if I want to. And personally, I'm lazy on Saturday mornings. I don't want to get up early, so that way I have to drive across town. So it's forced savings in a way. It's procrastination savings. And please utilize the chat and share with us. I'm going to be watching that in about 20 more seconds. Dominique, how do you save money?
I kind of do the same thing. I have a bank that is annoying to get to, and if the fact that I have to get in my car and go, then I lose the zest for it. Another thing, once I'm done paying a credit card, I put it in a Ziploc and I stick it in the freezer. So by the time it thaws out, if I want it, then I've lost that loving feeling to go shopping. So that's one of the ways I save money. Wait, someone has, they said the chat is disabled. Maybe the Q&A, try the
use the
Q&A.
Q&A function, please.
Yeah, use the Q&A function to see if that works. You can put your questions in there. So another way, people are doing saving money, deferring a lot of their expenses as well. And right now we have a bit of a windfall, if you will. We're just watching what's happening with the student loans, federal student loans, until they figure that out. We can save some money and allocate those funds to something else.
Oh, definitely. I definitely would not consider refinancing those federal student loans, like you mentioned, because they are still in deferment and they are currently in a sweet spot of not earning any interest. Another feature I talked about earlier was skip a pay, which is something we do offer at HUECU. I would definitely contact your individual lender for your individual loans to see what the options are. And just to recap, we do offer it. It is you can skip up to 2 payments per year for a $25 fee. There's also utilities. I know National Grid has 2 separate programs. One of them helps you plan and budget, where you're able to spread out your payments to have a more consistent payment over the year, as opposed to fluctuating payments in the seasons. In the winter and summertime, sometimes in the winter, payments can be a bit higher with those higher heating costs, and reduced in the summer. This way, you're able to budget it out and plan accordingly.
And even
Oh,
insurance deductibles, like I know I have an older car, so I just kind of pay it up front because I've noticed once I spread out the payment throughout the year, they just tack on these fees, and my car is older, so I just kind of try to pay it up front as much as possible because I need to save money in that way. What about you, Terrence?
beautiful. I also do that, and a little bit of debt repayment tips too. I was, let me see. I was able to refinance some debt, not in the traditional sense, but I was able to go through Green Path and get some of that debt that I had really high interest, my credit card debt, and they were able to help me reposition it, which I will touch on a bit later and go into a bit more detail.
All right, someone has something in the Q&A. They ask, can you share strategies for short-term saving for dependents' college costs? I have 2 years before my kids start going to college.
Okay, let's see.
I
Hmm,
can jump in here, Terrence and Dominique. Hi, everyone. I'm Migdalia. I used to work in financial aid and higher ed for most of my professional career before starting here at the credit union. So a couple of different things when you're thinking about short-term savings. And, for this person that submitted that question, it has to do with college costs. But just in general, when you're thinking about short-term savings, you want to think about access to the funds. What the key with short-term savings is that usually you're going to need access to those funds. So some of the different things you can do, especially now in this higher interest rate market that we're in, you can start looking at CDs that tend to have that are short term. I know for us at the credit union, we recently have some CDs that are 9 months, up to 15 months. So again, on that shorter term, and check with all financial institutions. This is just one way to look into, one product to look into, which are certificate of deposits. With most certificate of deposits, you get a higher interest rate, but the catch is that you can't access those funds until that CD has matured or that time period has passed. With CDs, if you do take the money out, depending on who you bank with, typically will be penalties if you take the funds out earlier. Another approach, especially again with the higher interest rate market, could be doing money market accounts, which will typically offer higher rates than your typical savings accounts. But those are sort of two of the general ideas of how you can save for short term for college costs. A couple of other things too that I would recommend when you're thinking about college costs in general is to even start looking at the expenses that you're taking. And Dominica and Terrence spoke a little bit about this, about sort of being strategic with how you're spending, and even looking at, can you utilize credit cards that are going to give you cash back, or other ways that you can have some of that additional money that can be put aside to help with those college costs. I'll turn it back over to you, Dominique and Terrence.
Okay, someone else also has another question. They say, I review all of my reoccurring expenses every quarter and make sure I am not overpaying, that I'm using the services, etc.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's exactly what we're talking about with strategic spending, reviewing your expenses. Great savings tip. Thank you for sharing. Now, I mentioned this earlier and kind of alluded to this, calculating the cost of your debt. One more time, Dominique, please.
Second.
Beautiful. Now, looking at this, it's a little bit overwhelming and scary, and we're doing that on purpose to show you what the total interest on that you're paying and what you're paying to the lender. In this example here, there's two separate loans, one for $10,000 at a 7.5% interest rate, 120 months, monthly payment of $120. Total interest paid is almost $4,200. That's a lot of money. And the second loan, $5,000, 18%, 60 months, and another $2,618 in total interest for 50. So when you borrow that $15,000, you're actually paying an additional almost $7,000 in interest. And honestly, for me, that's a lot of money. That's a nice vacation. That's a very, very nice vacation. And we're presenting this to you so that way you're able to take a look at your own debt on your own time and calculate those numbers out and say, you know what, am I actually only paying that $10,000 or $5,000 in debt, or what is the interest really costing me at the end of the day? And this is where we're going to talk about some debt repayment strategies and different ways to tackle this and get those cost savings so that way you're not just paying interest to your lender, you're actually putting more of that interest back into your pocket or even paying down the loan in the future. So
Absolutely, Terrence. And one of the things you can do, and I can give you an example. I have a friend who was paying, had like 5 credit cards, and they were paying, 500 here, 200 there, 300 there. And it was just not making a dent at all. So one of the things that they did was they took out a personal loan at a lower interest rate and paid off their credit cards. And now they just have one bill a month instead of having all these different multiple bills. They didn't close their credit cards. They kept like $5 in there to pay it off every month, but it significantly helped and reduced the costs.
Oh, definitely. Thank you. And I do want to acknowledge that refinancing right now may not be the best idea because rates are incredibly high. And I do want to acknowledge inflation is really high right now, but I would definitely keep an eye on it. There are other ways to take advantage of the rates that we have now, as Dominic mentioned, those personal loans or even debt consolidation loans, where you're not making multiple payments to different credit cards. You might be able to restructure it and kind of consolidate. So it's one payment per month, and you're able to extend it out over 5 years. But I definitely would warn, and I do want to over communicate and have some transparency. Don't utilize those credit cards that you've kind of brought the balance over to a debt consolidation loan, because that will potentially get you into more debt, and that is harmful in terms of achieving your financial goals to pay down your debt and get out of debt. Now, debt management plans. If everything we've talked about during this presentation you've already done and you feel like, you know what, you still can't make headway, maybe a debt management plan is the next step to consider. They're very different from debt settlement plans, and what they are is a debt management plan is you're able to connect with one of our partners, GreenPath, and they will sit down with you, have a conversation, and say, all right, what is your budget? What's your debt? What are the rates? And after that conversation and after that in-depth look at your spending, they'll say, okay, let's take these 2 credit cards and they will contact the lender on your behalf, and because they have a relationship with them, and negotiate that interest rate. And they're able to potentially take you from a 20% or a 15%, just hypothetical numbers here, and bring you down to something that's more affordable. And instead of you making payments directly to that lender, to those multiple credit cards, you make payments to GreenPath. Then GreenPath then makes payments to the lender on your behalf. So it's less money management in terms of multiple payments for you to keep track of, and it's just one monthly payment coming out. There is a cost to it, and some of the products that GreenPath offers is not completely free, but they are affordable. For this debt management plan, it's $10 per credit line that's placed into the plan, up to $75 as a max in Massachusetts. And what that means is, let's say you're putting in 10 different lines at $10 a line, that's $100. But in Massachusetts, you wouldn't pay that full 100, you'd pay $75. And it's a great way to almost like a last resort to get out of debt if you feel like, you know what, you just need a little bit of extra help. And if you don't want a debt management plan, GreenPath is still there to offer free financial counseling. And maybe that's all you need. And it's still completely free and affordable.
And yes, and GreenPath is our financial wellness people that we use, and they speak several different languages, over 130 different languages, and you can access them at any time, even on the weekends. So they have a 1-800 number, and we'll also share the website with you in just a moment. I'll send it back to you, Terrence.
Thank you. As I mentioned before, this is a different look at a debt management plan by the numbers. And in this particular example, this member was able to pay off their unsecured debt, their credit cards, 40 months sooner and save about $32,000 in interest, which is phenomenal. So beforehand, they were making roughly about $800 a month in payments to their credit cards, and they were paying late over limit charges of $150 a month, and they were able to get on the GreenPath program. There is a service fee. It was 5 accounts, $50, but they were able to take those payments that were predominantly interest-based, that would just go towards the interest and not really bring down the principal, and restructure that, where they were still making the same amount of payment, about $800, but now almost $500 going towards the principal, as opposed to all of it going towards interest. And that makes a significant difference in terms of the rate and the speed you pay down your debt. As I mentioned earlier, this member paid off 40 months sooner and saved $32,000 on a debt management plan. It's a great way to get out of debt if it works for your unique situation. And I've been talking about GreenPath a lot, and this is GreenPath, HUECU.org/GreenPath. They do offer free financial wellness for credit, budgeting, and even COVID-19 counseling. Not all of their products are free, but some of the introductory stuff is free. And whatever products that they do offer that is charged, they're not expensive. They're very cost effective, and they are in the business to help our membership and anyone else make their best life out of have a great financial wellness journey. And it's very hard right now with inflation.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of that, we're talking about increasing your income, different ways. You can increase your income is, you can have a side hustle as well. Like if you're really good at baking or doing makeup or doing hair, those different things that you can do. Or if you're a really good cook, you can cook and then you can sell plates of food to definitely increase your income, help with your savings for whatever it is that you're trying to purchase, whether it's a new car or home, etc.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I also last night found Find Mass Money. I was like, let me just put my name. I put my name yesterday and I didn't see it. I put my name and I saw that I had some money just sitting there. So I put my information and I'm going to fill out the form later on today and get some money. So I found some other relatives who also had money I Find Mass Money. So these are other little things that, little pleasant surprises that always makes us happy.
Oh yes, I was actually also able to find $66 on Find Mass Money, and honestly, I was surprised. It's doing great. It may not be the most, but it helps.
Yep, and someone has something else in the chat. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. They this is really towards Wendy. They said, Wendy, they would like for you to share the company code for KGA so they can access the link. I think Wendy can probably share her email information at the end and you can probably contact her directly. Someone else has, how do you prioritize personal savings versus retirement versus extra payments on debt, i.e. student loans?
Oh, I think we should tag team this. I can start off, and if you want to add
Okay.
anything else, Dominique, please by all
Sure.
means. I would definitely prioritize having an emergency fund, having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved as your beginning. If you can't always hit your goal of hitting the amount per month, definitely work your way towards that, because the worst thing that we want to happen is have you send a lump sum of money towards your debt and then all of a sudden an emergency happens and you have to utilize that credit card again to pay it off, and you're right back where you started. It's definitely having a parallel, trying to do them all at once simultaneously. I know that might be difficult right now, but every small bit helps. Even $5 here, $20 here. As far as savings for retirement, I would definitely utilize different accounts, either like your employer through their 401k, an IRA. I can't go into too much detail. I'm not a certified financial advisor, but I definitely would say having savings and emergency fund and having payments on debt, it's you kind of want to do them all simultaneously as much as you can.
CDs are good ways to save as well. The interest rate are a lot higher than if you just had it sitting there in a, excuse me, a savings account. So those are different ways you can definitely save. I know Migdalia had mentioned that earlier. I would definitely do that because emergency funds, that's my go-to, because like I said, my car is a little bit older, so little things start falling apart. So having that emergency fund definitely helps to alleviate the situation. Someone also has in the Q&A, does using a payment plan affect your credit in any way? I guess they're talking about GreenPath.
Payment plans, depending on if you're in a debt management plan versus a debt settlement plan. Debt management plans can impact your credit, where the line that's placed into the debt management plan at the end of it will be closed, and that may have an impact on your credit. As far as any other thing that's very specific and unique to you, I wouldn't be able to speak on it. I would definitely contact GreenPath for more in detail or in-depth information.
And with GreenPath also, they don't do a hard pull. A hard pull is really like when they actually go in and they do a pull and it will impact your credit score. They do a soft pull just to kind of get a sense of a picture of your financial picture, if you will. And then they can then go in and advise you. So they don't do a hard pull that will, force you to lose any points or anything like that, because they need to kind of get a sense of, okay, what am I working with? How can I best assist you, knowing what your financial outlook looks like.
Okay, thank you. And I did just put that link in the chat for the find missing money. The link is not state specific, that is for the entire country. And then you want to go in and click on your specific state, put in your information and see what you find.
Absolutely.
So
we've been talking about a bunch of different things right now. We want to talk about the next steps and how, what are some of the things you can do moving forward.
One thing, I would definitely visit our website and see if you can take advantage of our calculators that we have for setting up a budget. We have different blog articles, so many resources that we want to give you, we want to show you. Please take advantage of them and even view our debt repayment options. We touched on several ones, from debt settlement plans to debt consolidation if you're paying multiple different credit cards, or even personal loans. There are a lot of different ways to make these debt refinancing or debt restructuring options work for you. And I hope you're more able to increase your cash flow just a little bit until summertime comes. So that way we all have a great vacation.
And even if you just do one little money tip, in the next week, you can try it one at a time, because it's overwhelming. That's a lot of information to consume in just a short amount of time. But just pick one little tip, whether it's, putting that $5 or $10 away, using coupons from your local grocery store, and you buying their brand to save you some money. Just those little things can really, really go a long way.
And we also have a blog, as I mentioned before. We are blog.huecu.org, and I just put that link in the chat. We are constantly updating it, and we love when people read it. Please read our blog.
And the blog talks about a bunch of different things, whether it's about, if you're buying a car, what do you want to do as far as a credit report? How do you navigate that? paycheck health. How do you separate your paycheck and allocate the funds where it's going to go? So it's a bunch of different interesting topics that people are, telling us that they want to hear about.
We also have a survey. Let us know what you thought of this webinar. Let us know what we can improve on. How can we make this benefit more valuable to you as our membership? That is huecu.org/survey.
And last but not least, don't sue us. We're just here to provide some good tips. We're not certified counselors or advisors, but we're just here to give you a bunch of examples in this presentation, just really for your financial needs. And, everyone will be different. So if you need specific financial goals that you need to reach, I would contact a financial advisor, and Green Path is definitely here for you. And of course, stay in touch with us.
Yes,
follow
please.
us on all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We have on my HUECU at YouTube, we have a lot of different presentation on YouTube as well. And Terrence has been really good at putting a lot of the links in the chat. So definitely look at the chat. Wendy, did you have anything that you'd like to share? I know you had said you wanted to put some information.
Yes, thank you. Migdalia is going to share the list of registers with me. So I will be sending the different links for our benefits and discount page. And I just wanted to mention that for those who are interested on the employee assistance program, the username is BCH, and you can log in without being a member, and it will allow you access. But I will be sending everything through email as well. And please reach out to me after if you need any additional help.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Wendy, for participating. And thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for hanging out with us this wonderful afternoon. Hopefully you have an opportunity to go out and enjoy this wonderful sunshine. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.